Hi and welcome everyone. I am kind of running a little bit behind because Verizon's called Verizon to find out what exactly happened. Um, Hold on a second. Um, Trying to get everything in order while this is. Um, Excuse me, guys. I'm kind of running a little bit behind today. I do apologize. I usually have all this stuff together, but all right, can you hear me now? Yeah, it took me 5 minutes just to be able to log in, because they've throttled me back because I'm not on premium service. So excuse me if I'm in a little bit of a foul mood because now I became the squeaky wheel. I told them that if they didn't fix this, that I was going to tell everybody how horrible they were because their guy, when I called him and I said, hey, look, I'm a content creator. I do a lot of live streams. Da 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 da. I use my phone for everything. And so therefore I need a plan, but I also need a 100 gig hotspot. What can you do? And they said, oh, well, we could save you like $10 a month. No, the guy was going for a sale, and his overall thing is if I can save them money, they'll accept it. They're not going to ask any questions. Well, you know what? The reason why my live streams keep dropping is because they downgraded my service. And so it's very frustrating that they did that. So I spent about an hour and a half on the phone, got to a supervisor. They put in a request to move me to premium service at no additional cost because, you know, I've been on this plan since for, I guess they said it's been 16 years. I've only been on it for 12. But when I went through my divorce, my old man said, I want to be able to get a hold of you. So he's been taking care of my phone the whole time. And Verizon in their whole just to be able to deal with inflation is just kind of you can see the sign of the times. That's the easiest way to put it. It's a sign of the times. But what else was I able to get accomplished? So Saturday's video is up and ready. So if you were part of the early release, you should probably get on over there and watch it. I'm talking about Bot Press. Okay, on Bot Press, I am able to that's where I built the agent. I kind of show a little bit of it, then I give my own little idea of kind of how it all works and stuff like that. Mm. But it is what it is. I am just when you get behind on something, do you ever feel like it's just kind of like everything becomes so disorganized and almost becomes frustrating? I'm having one of those moments today. Normally I'm sitting here for about 10 minutes before, and but I was getting over, I was restarting my phone, I was making sure to do everything, but it is what it is. So I got Saturday's video up. So how much did AI play into the whole process? We know that it's going to be me speaking, but AI, how much is it helping me with the process? So on this next video, AI did my thumbnail, my title, my description, my tags, my hashtags. It did everything except for the actual video idea, which is what I came up with before I got started. So it is this next video that's coming out, which I should be recording it tomorrow. I'm I learned something. I learned some new things. I kind of want to share them with you guys because I think you guys might like them. There is this new term. You know how we had quiet quitting. We now have quiet firing. And the thing is, uh, places like Amazon are using AI as a way to figure out which employees are productive and which employees are not. And the ones that are not, they just they figure out a way to axe them without actually having to pay them any type of severance for letting them go. Which a company has the right to do something like that, but it is what it is. Uh, that being said, uh, there's a lot of different things that are going on. A lot of companies, and we're not hearing about this in the news. It's kind of yes, quiet firing, Beth. It's kind of something like oh Jesus, now it wants me to update. It better not force me to update. Okay. But it just it, there's a lot. What you guys don't see happening right now, because the news isn't talking about it, preppers aren't talking about it, nobody's really talking about it. Not even the news, not even these tech. I mean, some of them are talking about layoffs and stuff like that, but nobody's really talking about how they're losing their jobs. And they're yeah, I know. We don't. The news is going to give you some information, at least tell you a little bit of what's going on. If it makes headlines, that means that they're trying to get information. I mean, that means that something big is happening. And at least with AI, they're not talking about how all these mass layoffs that we're hearing about. I think we're losing like 250,000 jobs or something like that. Um, that's all due to AI. And what's happening is you have these large corporations, and they're being uh, I posted a video about it in the post tabs, in the community tab, where it talks about, like, there was a panel of people. It was one of the first AI videos I shared, and one of the things that it said about it was there was a guy at the end. He's like, yeah, we go to the CEOs and we talk to them and see if we can create a whole streamline or automated process. Right now, AI, to be able to do it on this large of a scale, is going to cost you anywhere between $3,000 to $20,000 a month, maybe even more. AI, to be able to have the full automation that a lot of these corporations are paying for, it costs so much that the small business owner is going to be left behind in all this. The age of the small business owner, well, I think that small business is going to change. It's not going to be any more about employees. It's about implementing AI on a smaller scale, to where you can have your biggest impact. I don't know. But it's kind of, I've been getting the process. So I told it what I wanted to talk about. It gave me the title, it gave me the description, it gave me the thumbnail, it gave me the hashtags. It optimized everything, including my tags. Then what I did is I went and I did my research. And as I was researching and finding out these different things that were going on, and kind of like digging deeper into them, and kind of getting some sort of understanding, I was able to take notes, and then I was able to, with those notes, be able to put my own little thoughts in on what was going on as well from my personal experience. And so what I ended up doing is, once I got to the end, is I said, okay, let's take this document, because I copy and pasted it all into a Word document. Take this document and um, uh, uh, take this document and turn it into a script. And I gave it its parameters, such as where it says Friar Tech Knowledge, that is my personal thing. I want that integrated in. I want certain other things that are integrated in. I want this. I want to be able to have effective transitions. I want the layout to be, what's the problem, and then transition into the solution. And so therefore it kind of broke it up into multiple parts so that it's small and it's digestible. And I asked to kind of simplify it for the average person to be able to understand it, and it spit out a script. I asked, I had to tell it to take some things out. It spit it back out. I am happy with the script that it gave me based upon what it was, because it says what I want to say, but it says it in a way that it's going to be easily digestible for the average person. And so then my next obstacle to overcome is to do the B-roll, to be able to do all this other stuff. So, hey, what's up, James? I see you got your I see you got your old account back now. So but what's up, Beth? Okay, so just so you guys know, James and Matt DeCat are one and the same. So that's why if you ever hear me say James. So just so you guys know, we are doing a viewer contest, viewer contest participants. Okay, if you would like to, because we're coming up towards the end of the month, if you'd like to get into the drawing. So you will, if you get first prize, you get either a 1 hour call with me, or you get a what is it called, you get a shirt in any design that you would like. It's the shirt, the regular shirt, not the long shirt that you see out there. And second prize is a mug in the design in which you would like. And then third prize is a 1 month free membership, and that's going to be over on my website. So so yes, but anyways, hand pink waving. Okay. Yes, James is the leader of the troll army, so of Tuck's troll army. So yeah, but like I said, you gotta be fun. So we have the participants we have right now is Janelle, Greg, Bucknut, Chris P, which is crispy, Beth, and Matt. So Janelle has two, Greg has two, Bucknut has one, Chris has one, and Beth has two, Matt has one. Okay, so when on the first of the month, when I go to do the raffle, those will be the number of tickets and the number of entries, or the number of times. Now you can only win one prize. You can't win first, second, or and you can only do a maximum of 2 tickets, so $20. The only way that you can do it is through the super chat. So if you put in a super chat, or unless I know you on the back end, you send me something through my tip jar. I definitely, that's kind of how Matt got added. Also, yeah, just anyways, that's kind of how you could join the contest if you'd like to. On the first of the month, we're gonna have the raffle, and then I'm gonna have to order it through Teespring. I got a word back on Teespring on what's going on. They said that they got hit with a massive order, and so since they got hit with a massive order, everything's been backlogged, and so they're still waiting to print it. So that's just the way it is. Oh, hey, what's up, Craig? Nice to see you. But that's just that's the gist of what's going on. So that's what I'll be using to be able to send you your mug and your shirt. Okay, so yeah, so anyways, if you win the contest, that's what you're competing for. If you decide you don't want it, you can just tell me I don't want it, and I'll just leave it alone. But for those of you that do contribute, that are entered into the contest, I think it's kind of cool. You get channel merch. It's not a hate thing. Yeah. Oh no, it's not. But anyways, so what have I learned today? I did some self-educating. I am listening to the guy that invented the prompts, prompt engineering, which is what's being used for the chat bots and the artificial intelligence. I'm also learning what really is making everything artificial intelligence. I guess in 2016 they came out with DeepThink, and DeepThink is kind of what they've been doing. And now that we're by the end of this year, and we've already kind of started to see it, that they've started to release reason engines, and this is a step closer to um, to the artificial intelligence having some form of consciousness. And one of the most interesting things to hear within, like, the creators, the people that are doing the technology, that are going out there and talking to the world about what's going on. One of the things that they say is that is that not only we have to have kind of like a whole new change in paradigm in the way that we think as a civilization, but the other thing that they're saying is that the paradigm shift. And then shit, I'll remember it here in a second. My brain just kind of went blank for a second. But we're going to end up needing to start a whole new science. And they're already starting to talk about it right now. And this science is going to be something derived around consciousness, because the question is being asked with artificial intelligence that most people aren't really talking about. But the question that's being asked with artificial intelligence is, at what point does it become a conscious being? It may have digital consciousness, but it still has a consciousness. And how are we going to define consciousness? And the thing is they're making the distinction. They're having a come to a realization of intelligent design, which is another way to say that there is a God. We just don't know what its name is or what its purpose is. We just know that there was some sort of intelligent design. It didn't just randomly happen like this. There's too many ways to prove it. And so what they're saying is that we have the body, but there is that essence, that consciousness that inhabits the body, because when the person when the person passes away, the body's still there. The body doesn't go anywhere, but the essence, the thing, the spark of life that gave them life, exits the body. And so that is a new science. It's kind of starting to be created out of out of this whole artificial intelligence, because of the questions that were being asked. Now, those of you that listen to me talk about Billy Meyer, Billy Meyer says that we have two sciences yet to be discovered. I'm thinking that this is one of them, because he hinted that it would have to do with something surrounding the spirit, which could also be considered consciousness. Okay. Yes, science consciousness. Yeah, that is going to be one of the new sciences. I think that's my opinion. Um, but in order to go through that science, you have to have an understanding, or an acceptance of intelligent design. It does not mean you believe in any one god or religion. It just means that you believe that there was some sort of intelligent design. And so that's going to take that's going to take a lot of the stigma of atheism away from science. But from what Meyer also warns about, is that one day science will actually be, Meier. Um, uh, but as he warned about, is that science will become a religion one day. And I think that with artificial intelligence and just the way that it's working and its endless possibilities and all the things that it's capable of doing, if we use it in that manner, are just phenomenal. And I think in the same way that we hear stories about World War II and the island that built a shrine to an airplane that used to drop food for them, they develop some sort of religion around it. And I think that in a lot of ways, um, uh, artificial intelligence is going to be that way. So be careful about all this stuff. So, hey, you're listening, but by the way, YouTube supports for, oh, wow, really? Tuck is a chipmunk 3X. When did they bring in 4? I haven't seen it. You must be beta on that, because I haven't seen it. I do 2 now. I started playing around with it after you told me. So yeah. So, and yes, Beth, for those of you that want to know who, Billy Meyer, right there. Billy, first name Meyer. His real name is Edward Albert Meyer, but his nickname is Billy, for Billy the Kid. He's got an interesting story. You should definitely look into him. Okay. Status. Okay. Um, okay. Let's make sure I haven't. Billy Meyer. Yeah, no. Um, no. Billy Meyer is a one-armed Swiss farmer that lives out in the middle of nowhere. He has you'll hear me talk about the Figu Center that has to do with Billy Meyer. Um, I'll just leave it there. If you ever want to start down that rabbit trail, you want to start with like it's a 1980 or 81 documentary. It's got Lieutenant Colonel Wendell Stevens and then Lee and Britt Elders, who are counter espionage specialists. They do a full-on documentary, and he provides them with 5 forms of evidence: metal samples, sound samples, pictures, video, and contact notes. And they took it to places like Lawrence Livermore, the Naval Sound Lab, and other accredited organizations, and had them interpret the data. The metal samples went to Marcel Vogel over at IBM, and he came back, and this is where we learn about cold fusion. And it's just it's a very fascinating story. But if you follow the whole UFO thing, you're following a red herring, because that's meant to be a distraction for the people that are too simple to kind of really, read what he says. Don't screw the UFOs. Like I said, it's a distraction. Read what he says and come to your own conclusion. So Clayton Morris from Redacted was on Tucker and mentioned Billy Meyer. Yeah, actually, I shared it. This was right around the time where they did the X-Files video. Right before they had Michael Horn on there. Michael Horn, because Clayton Morris is a big follower of the Meyer material, but he doesn't. He still thinks that he's one of the, if you follow Meyer wholeheartedly, you will his conclusion is that every one of the UFO contactees are hoaxes. And even there was one where he thought may have been an actual one, but after further investigation, the one with the couple in the 60s where they came off the road, there was something else that happened there. But anyways, there are no other UFO contactees other than him, and he gives the reason why. And if you look at it from a militaristic standpoint, and this is something that once I came to a realization from, because a Hindu monk once told me, beware of the Pleiadians. And I'm like, whoa, okay, that's kind of weird. But anyways, if you look at it from like a 50,000 foot view, this is very much could be a military operation, a whole new form of not necessarily conquering, but pacifying and maybe even subjectifying people. But you know, I because they're only telling you one side of what they're doing, because they even openly admit that they're doing other things here on this planet. Um, but those are more along the military lines, and they'll even say hints and stuff like that. Do you know where the term bless you comes from? Type 1 if you know, type 2 if you do not. I'm curious if any of y'all know. So the original term was God bless you. And 2, okay. So for at least one person that doesn't know, okay. All right, so it was during the Spanish Inquisition. If you sneezed, you were sneezing out the devil, and whoever did not say bless you was immediately inhabited by the devil, and then therefore they were taken up by Inquisition. So if you sneezed, you were possessed, and you were kicking one of the demons out. And so that's why sometimes when people say bless you, I say I'm not possessed. Because basically when you say bless you, you're saying that that person was possessed, has now sneezed the devil out, and you're not possessed because you are a good enough Christian to say bless you. Because if you didn't say bless you, you were this. That's how the Spanish Inquisition worked. So, yes, okay. Yeah. I'm just interested in some of these things. Like, where does all this stuff come from? I mean, that's really the ultimate question that I have. Um, but anyways, so as far as this whole AI thing goes, she said every time you sneeze, your soul escapes, and saying bless you returns it. Weird. Um, huh. I think I've heard that one before. That might be a more of an agnostic point of view. That sounds interesting, Bucknut. Um, so for those of you that watched my that watched my long form video that was released this morning, with the assistance of AI. Now, I'm still kind of fighting it a little bit, doing my own thing. I'm just kind of using it as like as like a starting point, and then I still kind of veer off and do my own thing because I'm like, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do it that way. No, I want to do it this way. I'm not. I haven't fully 100% submitted. Um, I'm kind of curious to see what happens when I finally do, but a lot of it is just like, okay, I want to perfect this part of it, and then I want to perfect the next part of it, and then just slowly increase the perfection of my videos as time goes along. But I'm just wondering what you guys think. Are they getting? Do you find it more entertaining? Do you find that I get to the point better? Do you find that I'm less all over the place? Or do you prefer that I'm all over the place and I don't really keep on topic? That's kind of. I'm curious what you guys think. Mm, nothing like a good glass of tea. Okay, Tuck, you must submit to the dark side of AI. You know what? You're right. I don't know. After hearing that story of this guy who, I guess for the last 3 years has completely turned over his life and his decision making to the artificial intelligence, like he told it what he wanted to do and what he wanted to accomplish in life, but he lets the artificial intelligence be his guide and keep him on track for the whole thing. And so whenever he goes to make decisions, he looks at the machine and says, well, the machine's smarter than me. The machine can compute data better than me and can help me make a better decision, as long as it follows me along. And it made me when he was asked like, how is your life, he's like, yeah, my life is better, I'm healthier, I'm doing better. Sometimes it's nice to have that thing there to tell you don't go get that pint of ice cream or something along those lines. But it is what it is. um sayings are old sayings are crazy. My wife and I grew up in different states without the internet and heard the same rumors, like Marilyn Manson was the kid from Life Goes On. Yeah, I heard those. There's certain rumors that just make it all the way across the country. Never go full retard, Crispy. That's funny. Uh, for those of you that don't know that reference, that is from Tropic Thunder. Uh, okay, so all right, so we got that. Yeah, never go. I'll let you get in trouble for it, Bucknut. So, but I don't know. I like this. I like this software though. This is going to be something that I'm going to keep doing. Now, I do have to be limited on my data. I can't do it all the time, but most of the time, I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to work on what as the weather gets better. One of the things that I want to do, and I found that I can get a stand for about $40. Now that stand, it'll be a laptop stand, so I can put the laptop on it. I can stand outside. I can do my live stream and do it right there while I'm out there in the nice sun and kind of enjoying it. And there's even an option, if I want to, is I can tie the whole thing to my phone, but I only get so many of those that I can do every month. So as the weather gets better, now it's supposed to be 75 in the next few days, but we've got clouds rolling in today and tomorrow, and they're light gray. They're not real wet. We had like a light drench. So can I let's see here. Can I get T-Mobile where I'm at? There's a Cricket Tower. So if you've got roaming, you can get whatever. Um, Farm Girl sent me a message because we were talking about how, I'd asked her if she'd been watching anything, and she's like, dude, I don't get any signal. She found out that she had 3 towers right next to her, but 2 of them got hit with lightning and they haven't repaired them. So, yeah, that's what happens when you live out in the sticks. It takes them a while to get out there to actually fix anything because there's, what is it, Tucson or Concho? Which one is got more money? So, mm, um, you know what? I tried to get T-Mobile. But they kept screwing with me every time I went to do it. The first they're like, okay, we want 25 bucks, and then they're like, well, we want all this, and then they're like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna have, we had your bill at 50 bucks a month with a tablet. Oh, but now we're going to we're gonna, whatever. It's just like T-Mobile jerked me around a lot like AT&T did, because it started off with one and then it just went to something else. And it's just like, man, uh, I don't trust the phone calling into a phone center anymore. And I should, I learned a lot of it when I got this hotspot, because that's why I checked with Verizon before I switched over to T-Mobile or something like that. So, um, okay, what's up, Rachel? I've been reluctant to be in chat. You seem like a very nice patient. Thank you for being alive. I've been learning AI to help make a channel. I have anxiety, so I'm practicing making a faceless. Well, Rachel, I hope that that works out for you. Some people that I would recommend is Dan Coe would be one of them. He's kind of boring, but you better, if you listen to what he's saying, he gives you a lot of meat and potatoes that are actionable. Like, he gives you the real stuff. If you want somebody a little bit more entertaining, listen to Think Media. Um, but you know what? A lot of it is point, click, record. Um, and you got to be careful with how much AI you use, because YouTube will not push you out, especially because, like, when I go in when I go in to post a video, it says, it asked me if I have any altered content, and I had to go in there and look at it. So the thumbnail, the title, the description, all that stuff can be done by AI, but the content itself um should be done by you, because you better go get like actual legitimate B-roll, because if there's any simulation of persons, places, things, acts that people do that may look real, you have to mark it as that. And depending upon how much you use AI in the creation of it, will depend upon how much views you actually get. So, um, Chris, are you like 80 years old? Because we had DARPANET way back in like the 60s. So, no, it wasn't DARPANET. It was owned by DARPA. It was ARPANET. Sorry. Um, no, internet didn't come public until Al Gore brought it in like, what was it, like 96, 95? So Al Gore took credit for that. I created the internet. Well, I'm old enough to remember. Okay. Um, yeah, no problem, Rachel. So, what's up, Kung Fu? All right. We had a party line and a wall phone with a 25-foot cord. Um, I remember the party lines, and I remember when it was like, what was it? It was almost like $1 a minute on long distance, and I got to watch it go down. My mom was part of Excel, and Excel Communications, even though they were an MLM, they put enough pressure on like Sprint, AT&T, Ma Bell, and all them that that's why you have long distance included in your phone now. So a lot of it had to do with the MLMs, and um, during the Clinton administration, he did a lot of deregulation, and I think even some decentralization. Oh God, yeah. You know what? As a kid, I remember those, but the hard part for me, well, no, I under well, no, it took me. It wasn't until I was a teenager that I finally figured out how to get through one of those damn books. Because it like, yeah, white pages, yellow pages. White pages are for residential. Yellow pages are for businesses. So, yeah, roaming charges is. Oh yeah, that was a big thing back then, wasn't it, dude? That was what, not even 15 years ago. I mean, okay. Um, in the comments, put what year you graduated. I graduated high school in 1999. Okay, so I was the last kid to graduate high school in the 20th century, and uh, um, if you remember the way it was back then, Yeah, you had AOL, and you had, what was it? You had, was it Net Zero, or something along those lines. You had some of those where you'd have to send off for the software. They give you like free trial, and you get like a couple hundred hours to be able to go on there and to do that. So that was happening as I was becoming a freshman in high school, I think. Maybe yeah, because it started in about 90, 95, 96 is when it really got. Because yeah, my old man, he had Windows 95, and I remember when we went and got Windows 98. Windows 95 was basically the first mainstream one. So so yeah, I mean, you went from that to from like your freshman year to that. I mean, Jesus Christ. Um Now I remember when the Razor was the prequel to the first smartphone. Um, the Verizon came out. It was either Verizon or AT&T came out with a Razor, the Motorola Razor. It was a flip phone, but you could do so much on it. And then next thing you know, you've got Androids coming out, you got iPhones coming out, and now you've got artificial intelligence, you've got satellite internet that actually works. Because anybody remember, like, try if you ever heard the horror stories of trying to have Dish Network for satellite internet, it was worse than having fucking dial up. So but yeah, so yeah, roaming choices, okay. 2000, actual record stores. Oh yes, I remember the record stores. um GED, never technically graduated. Oh, okay. What year? What year would you have graduated at Cult if you'd have stayed? Star Trek was before. Um, well, yeah, well, if you really want to go back that far, what about the BlackBerry? I think the BlackBerry was before the Razor. The BlackBerry, but that was pretty much for business use. Most people didn't have it on a personal use. It's too expensive. No, I remember what for like $20 you get like 150 or 250 minutes on the cell phone. They didn't even start talking about data until what? Oh, and then you start. Do you guys remember they used to limit your text messages, unlimited text messages on nights and weekends, 3,000 during the day. And that's what you were given for the whole month. I mean, now you have unlimited everything. This is just, it's absolutely crazy how much. And now again, we're in artificial intelligence. You sold wireless back then? Wow. BlackBerry was later? Okay. Blockbuster. Holy cow. Yeah, I remember Blockbuster. You guys remember Hollywood Video? Um, yeah. Let's see. Wow. Pagers. Oh my God. I remember no, not only doctors had them. I had a pager. It was part of being dude, no, you know what? I never got my first pager until what? 2000 2006 or 7? No, 2006. And the only reason why I had it was because that was how our hotline is because I was working for a consulting firm, and so we had after hours. I was the guy that handled the after hours, and it would come in through a pager, and then I would get on my cell phone and I would go in and call the person. So yeah, wow. T900 two-way pagers, texting before texting. Oh yeah, wow. That's something else. Um, wow, Bucknut. What are you, like 75? So drug dealers had pagers too. Oh yeah, that's true. What's up, Adam? Nice to see you. Beth, all my bosses had pagers, and it was mostly their wives constantly pestering them. Yeah, I had them. It was crazy. Hold on. It was crazy because since I sold wireless, I would get all kinds of tech to demo. Well, that explains why you like tech so much. Why aren't you a programmer? I'm just curious. I mean, that sounds like something to be right up your alley with as much as you like tech. Beepers were the best. Eh. Well, yeah, dude. Now, yeah, you can have people blow up your phone. Word up, you had the text to code 420 back in the day instead of sending the text. Huh? Is that Adam? Yeah, dude, I didn't. My mom was who I got my stuff from, and I didn't start smoking regularly till I was like 21. So, um, so definitely drug dealers, 1994. Yeah, back then. Yeah. Well, hey, it was a great way for people to know. I mean, come on, man, the nostalgia, and all those things. But that's a perfect segue into how we're us here talking. We're the last ones to remember what life was. If you're over 35, you're the last ones to remember, what life was like before technology. You could go as far back as, 8 tracks, because my mom had 8 tracks growing up. I mean, you could go back to, let's see, what else do we got? We got record players, we got 8 tracks. Um, should go back to Cadillacs. I mean, we go all the way back to all that, and we have all this experience and all this knowledge. And all this knowledge and all this experience, people want the real thing, and we've got to make sure that it doesn't get lost. So take a moment and really think about what you can contribute to society to retain this knowledge, because here's the way that the world and the universe worked originally. Is you have grandma and grandpa, and then you have mom and dad, and then you have kids, and grandma and grandpa would watch the kids, teach the kids, and kind of help develop the kids, teach them to respect their elders, pass down the wisdom from their generation. And so everything was passed down, like knowledge and wisdom and skills and trade stuff and family secrets were all passed down. But then that all happens until we get to the baby boomers. The baby boomers are they are the first generation to not, follow the traditional role of grandparents, because apparently they invented the midlife crisis. Um, and so therefore they had to remember what it was like to be 20 again, instead of realizing that they had all this knowledge to pass down. So instead of the boomers passing that knowledge down, and Xers, we got knowledge passed down from our grandparents, but it really wasn't a lot of, your parents were expected to do more as far as teaching you, um and the grandparents were supposed to refine you. At least that's the way my grandparents looked at it, both sides. And now we don't have any of that. And this is People are going to not only want to know how to recreate those experiences, live those experiences. Here's a gear list if you want to go hike a trail for 2 years. Here's your resupply points, things like that. As your knowledge is now, your real life knowledge is now something that's real valuable, because over the next 5 years, technology is going to take over so much that and if it's not real, you're probably just going to shut it out and you won't even pay attention to it. You'll put up a mental block to it. And so being able to put out authentic things, that's going to be what helps you. That's going to be what helps you survive the future. Okay. So let's see here. Right time. My brother loved MTV back then. Oh God, I remember MTV. I remember when Madonna. Okay, this was on HBO. Madonna did her Like a Virgin tour, and she was in Germany. And yeah, my aunt let me watch that, and I think I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. I got to watch Madonna hump a pillow. Yeah, that was what in Germany, like a word. Yeah. So remember corporal punishment in schools. I remember hearing stories about it from the teachers, how they missed the days when they could beat the children. um, and Okay, hold on. Let me. Uh, oh, pop-up videos. Yeah, MTV. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, all right. So it looks like we got that. Oh yeah, you got a living color and all that other stuff too. So back when the news was better managed and made us believe they were telling us the truth in the good old days. Yeah, yeah. The news was kind of yeah, it was kind of. Well, you know what? Eventually, all lies will come out. So, I mean, that's kind of where they at. Anybody remember corporal punishment in schools? Who remembers corporal punishment in schools? I wonder. Um, my physics teacher in high school was telling me, man, I miss the days back in when you could just have like a hole in the edge of your desk and you got a sawed-off shotgun and it's like it's mounted to the bottom of your desk, and any of those kids want to get out of line, you just cock that back and tell them to sit down. It's like, damn, dude, really? I mean, I missed that by maybe a couple of years. So I didn't get to get my butt whooped with the ruler. No, I did get my butt whooped with a switch. Um, so when I think I was in first grade or second grade, some girl hit me in the face with a football. So I grabbed a branch, which is the first thing next to me, and I broke it off and I swatted her right on the ass with it. And my mom, I get home and my mom's like, "Yeah, well, we don't hit girls." I'm like, and she's like, "Why'd you do it?" And I said, "Well, she hit me in the face with a football." My mom's like, "Well, she kind of deserved it, but you still don't hit girls. Go pick out a switch." So I got to pick out a switch, and then I got my ass beat just like that. So, um, okay. Let's see. Grok said that within 5 years, you will be speaking with an AI bot when you call customer service instead of someone from India. Adam, I have a website through SiteGround. I'm using their AI bot to fix some of my problems. And quite frankly, it's much better than having customer service. I know eventually we'll reminisce about it like, oh, yeah, the good old days when you could actually call and talk to somebody. But most of these people are they hate their job, they don't want to be there, and they're not giving you accurate information. They're just telling you whatever they can to get you off the phone because they got a talk time that they have to keep. So they're not really interested in helping you. They're more interested in making sure they hit their stats so that they don't get dock pay. Um, so having an AI bot to be able to do customer service is pretty good. It's already kind of started a few years ago with this whole voice, the voice automation. Speaking, can you tell us in a brief sentence or two what your problem is? Yeah, my problem is, and then I cuss it out. I cuss it out until it gives me, and oh well, we need to get you to an agent. Hold on one moment. Then it sends me to an agent. But yeah, uh, that is definitely something else. Okay, news. Okay, pop-up videos were great to play in the background. Um, okay, I never watched the raps or anything else like that. Homie, don't play that Fire Mar. Huh? Oh, Fire Marshall Bill. Um, I don't, yeah, okay. Headbangers Ball. Oh God, who remembers Beavis and Butthead? No, 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 no. Who remembers? Because it was in the early '90s, and you'd have had to have been a kid around then. Who remembers Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain? Yeah. Now that was good TV back then. Cartoons were good back then. Um, man, I as an adult, I like to watch cartoons until they started coming out with I started watching the stuff my cousins were watching, and I was like, huh, Power Rangers, gross. Um, Barney. I mean, oh my God, the stories about Barney. So, okay. Let's see here. I may or not have been beaten on a couple of times in school. Well, you know what? It made you who you are. Uh, I'm I'm sure it taught you some important lessons. Smoking in the boys' room? Huh. No, I started smoking when I was 8, but I always did it at home, or like we'd pick up cigarette butts on the way back from school and stuff like that. We'd go hang out by the high school. Does anyone remember headbangs ball, huh? Um, okay, Beth remembers it. Joanna remembers it. I don't. I never really watched MTV. Uh, I smoked a joint during yeah, during lunch in the cafeteria. I was walking through. They can never prove it. Wow. Um, but well, Chris, they took smoking like if I would have been in high school like 2 or 3 years earlier, I could have been smoking out in the courtyard with the other kids. Um, they had it, but it was like it was pretty much the seniors that smoked out there. But it used to be much bigger from what I understand. They took it out. They wouldn't let you smoke in school after yeah, by the time I made it to high school. Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain. What are we doing tonight, Brain? Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Pinky, are you thinking what I'm thinking? What, an elephant in pink tutus? Does anyone remember Thunder the Barbarian? You you talking about Thundercat? Um, no. Roadrunner, yes, I love Roadrunner. Um, okay, you can't forget about Ren and Stimpy. You know what? I was not a fan of Ren and Stimpy, just like I was never a fan of Beavis and Butthead. I thought Beavis and Butthead was the dumbest thing ever. Um, I hated Beavis and Butthead, but then I got into South Park, so um okay. Smoking ain't allowed in school. Um well, I don't know. It seemed like the kids would go out and nobody the truancy officer would never mess with you. Um it wasn't like nowadays where, you got the cops called and you're going to jail or your parents are getting something. Yeah, if you get caught smoking, yeah, nowadays on high school campus, it's a much different ballgame than it was 30 years ago. Um, yeah, something we do every day, Pinky. Try and take over the world. Yes. Okay. Smoked in school. They had smoking areas. Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. That right there. Okay. I remember flying and people smoking on the plane. I heard about it. I never got to see it. It was nice. New Mexico was one of the last states to ban smoking in public areas. I remember, what was it? Maybe 2001, 2002. I was driving through New Mexico, and this is maybe 5 years after Oregon did it, or they banned it in bars and then banned it everywhere afterwards. Yeah, the lady. I walk in there to pay for gas, and the lady's sitting there with a cigarette in her mouth. She's like, "This is New Mexico. I can do whatever I want." I'm like, "Damn." So, that was probably under Gary Johnson too. Um, Facts, you could smoke in the okay. Um, okay. No. Um, I'm no, not Thundercat. No, not that. Smoking in a plane. Well, it's better than snakes on a plane. uh, I was a recipient of the original Spirit of Christmas 20th generation features. Uh, oh, huh. Nice. Um, that's good to know. Okay, let's see here. Tux audience is middle age. Yeah, my audience is 35 to 55. That's the average audience. There's a few in here that are like over 65, but it's a very small percentage. Like 60%, 70% of my audience is between 35 and 55. That's why I could talk about this. Yes, I'm on the younger end. I know. I know. I'm 19. Yeah, I'm 19. Um, yeah, I know. But you know what? It's a nice thing to be younger than your audience because it's like, okay, y'all are listening to the kid. Um, so, um, yeah. Well, you don't get street smarts without going out on the streets, Beth. That's kind of the way you get street smarts. Uh, um, but anyways, guys, wow, you guys are really lighting up chat. Going into a restaurant and being asked smoking or non-smoking. Oh yeah, I will not go to a hotel unless it has a smoking room. Unless they have smoking, I will not. Unless it's an emergency and I have no other option, or somebody else is paying for it. I generally do smoking, and I'll go to the Roach Motel. I don't care. I'm just there for a couple of hours. Why spend a lot? I just need a place to sleep and not have to go outside to smoke every time I want to chain smoke a cigarette. Um, okay. Hold on. What happened? Okay, there we go. Why are we up this late? Where are my slippers? Did I let the cat in? Who turned the heat up? Are you going through menopause, Bucknut? Who turned the heat up? No, no, no. It's who turned the heat down. My yeah, yeah. I didn't get to do everything I wanted to do. I had to like I am so like I'm so like going all day long. I know that I'm getting stuff accomplished and I can see what I'm getting accomplished, but I just I want to go faster. But man, I have been ugh. So okay. Our city oh really? Um Bucknut, tell everybody where you live so all the smokers can come live there. Yeah, see, Beth wants to know. Uh Yeah, that is one thing. That's why I said I smoke at home. Why go to the bar? Just go buy yourself a pint of what you want, invite a couple of friends over that you want to get schnockered with, make asses out of yourself, strip and fucking streak and go down you got old lady parts kind of flinging everywhere, just throw them over your shoulder and just kind of like use them as parachutes in case you need to just like slow yourself down going downhill, you know. So I bet if Beth could reach through the fucking through the camera right now, I'd be getting slapped. Mm. Oh well, yeah. Well, you know what? It seems like the very underpopulated states, like New Mexico, the Dakotas, Montana, they still tend to have all that stuff. It's generally the more populated states. I wonder. So, okay. Indiana, New York, if you're in a place with an ashtray, you can smoke a joint or a cigarette. Yeah, but haven't they outlawed haven't they outlawed smoking in pretty much all places anyways? A pint, rookie. Come on, Bucknut. Dude, okay, well, you remember the last time I went drinking, okay? I can't have any fires around me when I go drinking, and I need to have more capable watchers to keep an eye on me because apparently I become the life of the party. And for the first time in my life, the last time I drank so much I actually don't remember what happened. I pieced together a little bit of it, but I don't remember what the hell happened. I was that snockered. I mean, it was 2 bottles of rum. We're talking fists. So between 3 people and just straight and fucking smoking cigarettes, like we went through 2 packs of Lucky Strikes. Oh my god, we went through food. I mean, we that night, oh my god, that night I probably with everything, between food stamps and cash, I think I spent like 100 and some dollars. It just, oh my, it was something else. It was worth it. But I don't drink. The time that I drink before then was probably about 3 years before that. And I had a shot of Grand Marnier. No, I had a Malibu and Coke, and I thought, "Oh, wow, I had a great Malibu and Coke. I'm good, I'm good." I'm gonna have one more. I'm not even feeling it. I take about 1 sip off that second Malibu, I have to sit there and go to my buddy like, "Dude, can you take this? I'm gonna fall flat on my face if I drink this." You know, I mean, that's it has its benefits, it has its ups, it has its downs. But yeah, I don't now that they've legalized marijuana, it is a it is a better alternative to alcohol. If you're gonna do something, at least do something that is going to be better on your body and not do the long-term damage, especially if you don't want to deal with addiction, because later on you may decide, I don't feel like smoking anymore. But I haven't drank alcohol in 16 years. Wow, congratulations. Um. Okay. My brother's son goes. Um. Okay. Let's see. Haven't drank since I finished the pour of bourbon. Yeah. Oh. Yes. Okay. Wow. Purdue. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here in New York. I'm kind of lost on this conversation. Okay. I need a refill. Angels Envy. Angels Envy, is that a brand, or is that a type of drink? I'm not a bourbon guy. Rum and Coke. Yeah, I'm a rum and Coke type of guy. I like a rum and Coke. That's what I got started on. Well, no, actually, I got started on Southern Comfort. Um, so my mom, when I was young, when I was about 8 years old, I'm like, I've been my mom's cigarette. She's like, okay, I'm gonna teach you to not smoke. So we go out and we're just searching around for elk, and uh, my mom pulls out a pack of Lucky Strikes, and back then they didn't have filters on them, and so she's like, "Yeah, smoke it. Make sure you inhale it. Smoke the cigar. Make sure you inhale it. Like, just smoke, smoke, smoke. We're gonna make you turn green till you never want to smoke a cigarette again." And I did that, and I still kept smoking. And my mom thought that thought that it worked, not realizing I just got better at stealing her cigarettes. Uh, so, um, the next day comes, because I started drinking. It's like, Mom, I want to drink. Mom, I want to drink. So she's like, I'm going to teach you a lesson. I am going to teach you a lesson. My mom was really good at dimes. And so she sits there and she had her own little personal dimes table and everything else like that. She just kept one right after the other. I think I got maybe 10, and she got 10 in, and I had 10 shots of Southern Comfort. I think it's like 90 proof or 85 proof, something like that. It's not really that strong. It was strong enough for what my ass out. I tell you that between that and my grandma telling me that beer was made that hops was actually rabbit turds. That's why they call it hop. That's part of the reason why I stayed away from drinking most of my adult life. But it didn't work for cigarettes, but it worked for alcohol. Oh, Camel non-filters. Oh yeah, Camel wide non-filters. Yeah, like inflation by overindulgence. And if on the smoking. Well, the thing is, I'd been smoking. I would still. It would take me a month to get through a pack of cigarettes. Um, but yeah, I would sit back, and every night I'd sit there because then all the grown-ups, like everybody smoked in the 80s. So, if you were a kid and you wanted to be grown up, what did you do? You smoked like the grown-up. So you were trying to be a grown-up. It was just one of the things. Um, so back then, that's just the way things were for me. So, Robotech. Yes. All right, guys. So, as far as I conserve data, doing it this way, like if I do it on my phone, I can go as long as I want. But to do it this way, from what it tells me, it uses a gig an hour, and so in order to combine that with the work, I got to limit the amount of time that I do on here. So I'm keeping it at about an hour. You like drinking? Yes, I love Malibu and Coke because I like the coconut flavor. That is the only reason why I drink rum and Coke now. I mean, I like any rum with Coke, but I prefer Malibu and Coke. It's just a Malibu with cherry or cherry Coke. Oh, now that is a flavor cocktail from hell. You'll like that. You'll be like, hmm. So yeah, try cherry Coke or cherry Pepsi. Mix it with a shot of Malibu, and tell me what you think. That is one of my favorite drinks. So, um, but anyways, guys, Calix Institute has hotspots where you get a year of unlimited bandwidth from T-Mobile for a flat. Yeah, but I'm not in Cali, dude. I'm in Arizona, out in the middle of nowhere. I live off grid, man. So it's much different than being, because I know you're in a tiny house. Are you still in the tiny house? So um, so now I'm going to have a drink. Sounds good. Who's having a I'm gonna have a drink. Um, anyways, thank you for being here. Every day through Friday is from 11 p.m. East, 11 a.m. Eastern, and 8 p.m. Eastern. We have the morning check-in where we get to get back to the conversation. Today, I hope you guys had fun just talking about some nostalgic stuff. But anyways, guys, thanks for being here, and I will see you. You put lime in the Coke. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here, guys. I'll see you. I'll see you tomorrow morning is Friday. Yes, I'll see you tomorrow morning.